Services to citizens is one of the many priorities of the newly elected Mayor Dan Plato. Well, the former Western Cape Minister of Community Safety, who replaces Patricia de Lille as Mayor, was elected at a special council meeting in the Civic Centre. Plato was officially elected after securing a majority against two other candidates from opposition parties. We're now joined on the line by the newly elected Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato. Very good evening to you, Mayor. We thank you very much for your time. Essentially, your previous administration seems to now still haunt you upon your election today. Former DA Mayoral Committee member for Transport and Urban Development, Brett Heron, also highlighted the previous toilet saga that had continued under your administration. How are you going to be restoring public confidence in you?
Look, it is very easy for those people that left the DA coming up with all these issues while they were at the helm of the city of Cape Town for many years. Brett was there when I was there. He was in charge of one of the biggest departments at the city of Cape Town, and the question is, what has he done? Why didn't he then rectify issues what he was supposed to rectify instead of putting the blame back on his predecessors and so forth? At the end of the day, there's a lot of work to be done. I will not be distracted by all these talks and issues and what the opposition have to say. I've got a job at hand, and I will focus on that job.
Well, speaking of opposition, you've also been criticised by the ANC Cape Metro leader Xolani Sotashe, with him saying in the council today that you have the absolute worst record in your previous portfolio. How is this administration going to be different?
You must ask that same Councillor Sotashe, who is in charge of the police. I was never in charge of the police. I was the Western Cape Minister for Community Safety. I worked together with many national ministers of police who was operationally in charge of the police. I'm not putting the blame on them, but at the end of the day, I had no powers to give orders to the South African Police Services. And that is a question he must pose to his national leadership, like now Minister Becky Taylor, and before Minister Taylor, Fikile Mbulula, before him Natu Ngreku, and those people, they are in charge of the police. They have the operational control, the powers to investigate, the powers to arrest, the powers to take a docket to a court, and the powers to go and find the guns, because nationally they are also in charge of national intelligence. Provinces do not have such powers.
All right, if we move away and we have a look at some of your sentiments that you've shared around service delivery from the previous riots and protests that we've seen from unhappy communities in Cape Town, what do you take as areas of concern from the cries of help?
Let me say to you, there's unrest all over the country. In the Eastern Cape, in KwaZulu-Natal over the last couple of weeks, in Gauteng over the last couple of weeks. Housing is nationally a highly contentious issue. The Western Cape is no different. We must deal with housing delivery and deal with it decisively. We must spend our whole budget where we are supposed to spend that budget, and definitely it is exactly what we are going to do in the Western Cape as well. I have said that in my speech today. I am well aware of many of the issues pertaining to housing. It's a case of if one's plans is in order, if you communicate your plans, your issues you want to install, and with the public out there. And I think that is why I'm going on a listening campaign, also to listen, but also to inform the public with regard to what is it this new administration are going to do for them.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. That was newly elected Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato, just responding to some of the critique of him being in a hot seat, as well as also commenting on the further plans under Cape Town under his leadership.